At dinner with my husband and hashtag 39S friends, one of them asked how we met. He said, "Last night was supposed to be a normal dinner with Carlos, my husband, and his college friends, Alex and Becky. We were at this new restaurant downtown that Carlos had been unalive to try for months. The place was packed with people celebrating something. Some local sports win or whatever. The energy was high, drinks were flowing, and TBH, I was having a good time initially, despite feeling slightly out of place with his friends. We were all catching up, talking about random stuff. Was being pretty quiet, mostly just listening to their stories from the good old days when they were in college together. I didn't go to school with them, so these convos always make me feel like the outsider, but whatever. I'm used to it. Alex asked how Carlos and I met. It was an innocent question, nothing weird about it. But the moment he asked, I noticed Carlos' whole demeanor change. He got this look on his face, kind of smug, kind of annoyed. I was about to answer when Carlos cut me off. She basically begged me to date her, he said with this dismissive eye roll. I froze with my wine glass halfway to my mouth. Everyone at the table got quiet for a second. I thought maybe he was joking, but then he continued, look at her. He gestured toward me like I was some object being appraised. Desperate, average, and lucky I was bored enough to say yes. Alex and Becky laughed, but it was that uncomfortable laugh people do when they don't know how to react to something inappropriate. I didn't laugh. I couldn't even speak. My face felt hot and I was gripping my glass so tight I thought it might break. But Carlos didn't stop there. The waiter had just brought our appetizers and everyone was reaching for food, maybe trying to move past the awkward moment. Not Carlos, though. Honestly, he continued, taking a sip of his whiskey. I'm only still with her because I don't have time to train someone hotter. Alex looked at Carlos and said, damn, bro, in this low voice that wasn't exactly challenging him, but at least acknowledged how up the comment was. Becky was suddenly very interested in her phone, scrolling like her life depended on it. Nobody actually told him to stop. I sat there completely humiliated, trying to process what was happening. Like, was this actually my husband saying these things? The same guy who just last week was telling me how much he loved me. Carlos, what the hell? I finally managed to say, he looked at me with this expression Id looked at me with this expression Id never seen before, like he was looking at something gross on the bottom of his shoe. Then he turned to Alex and Becky. See what I mean? So sensitive, can't take a joke. He rolled his eyes again. This is what I deal with every single day. Alex cleared his throat. Maybe we should change the subject, but Carlos was on a roll now. He'd had 3 Weisses before the food even arrived, and something about the audience seemed to fuel him. Know what is funny? He continued. When we first met, she acted all confident and independent. Then once we got married, boom, clingy, needy, always asking where I am, who I'm texting. I stared at him completely blindsided. Carlos, stop. I said, what? I'm just being honest. They're my friends. They deserve to know the real you. He turned back to them. She thinks I don't see how she checks my phone when I am in the shower. I had never checked his phone, not once. Accusation made me feel sick. Becky finally spoke up. Maybe we should order more drinks. Her attempt to defuse the situation fell flat as Carlos waved her off. No, I'm just getting to the good part, he insisted. You want to know why I really married her? No one answered. No one stopped him. He leaned in, looking directly at me now. Let's be real. No one else wants her. I'm doing her a favor. Something inside me snapped. 5 years of marriage, countless memories, all the love I thought we shared. It all collapsed in that moment. Without saying a word, I stood up. Carlos looked up at me with this smirk like he was waiting to see what the desperate